Hey guys, it's Christina Cimorelli. Welcome back to my second channel. You probably know me from my main channel, Cimorelli, which is the band I'm in with my sisters. On this channel, I make videos about pregnancy, now motherhood, motivational, inspirational stuff, marriage, and life advice. Today's video is a 1 month with my baby postpartum update Q&A video, if that makes sense. Basically on my Instagram, which is linked in the description, I had you guys ask me some questions about what it's been like, my postpartum experience in 1 month with my first child, my son, Barrett. So I'm gonna answer your guys' questions today. So let's jump right into the questions. Did you expect that it would be this hard at night? So they were referring to the nights with my son keeping me up. I expected it to be hard, but I didn't expect it to be this hard. It's harder than I thought, yes. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. It was kind of what I expected, but like times 100. How do you deal with the lack of sleep with work and chores and stuff? Well, I'm going back to work kind of next week. Luckily I get to like make my own schedule and everything, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna deal with that. With chores, I ask for help and I don't get as much done as I used to, and I get stuff done while he's napping. If he takes a good nap, it's not on me. So I'm figuring it out as I go. I don't have it all figured out at all. We'll see what happens. Barrett is so cute, thank you. How did his aunties and uncles react to him? So my siblings are freaking out at him. Like they all freaked out at him. They all love him. It's so cute. It's amazing. Have you experienced postpartum hair loss? No, I haven't. Apparently someone said that's because I didn't experience postpartum hair growth. I don't know if that's true, but I didn't experience that and I don't have hair loss either. My hair's the same. Does he smile yet or laugh yet? Yeah, he totally smiles. It's so cute. He's not like he's smiling at me like he really knows what's going on, but he just smiles like, I don't think he really laughs yet. Did you have any anxiety or depression after the delivery? Yeah, definitely in and out, anxiety, depression, so much going on with the hormones. It's crazy, but luckily we have therapists and postpartum coaches. I've hired a couple people, trying out some sessions with them to find the right person to work with, but I'm really excited. I'm starting that actually tomorrow. So I'm really excited to work with someone, keep my mental health in tip-top shape. It's really, I think, important to jump into things before you, take care of yourself before you deteriorate too much. So I noticed I'm feeling kind of depressed, feeling kind of anxious about certain things. A lot of it's normal, but I just want to make sure I'm at my best. So I'm excited to start that. Are you still planning on having as many kids as possible after this experience? Yes, definitely. So pregnancy, that's doable totally. Very traumatic birth experience. If you watch that video, I'll link that in the description. That was like a freak accident kind of thing though, because my placenta had an infection. That's not really a common thing that happens. I don't think my doctors didn't think it had anything to do with my blood clotting disorder. It was really just like a freak accident kind of thing. So there's not really a high likelihood that that would happen again. And it's all worth it for him. So yes, I still want to have as many kids as possible. So we'll see what happens. How soon will I be back working with Cimorelli? So I'm taking 5 weeks off and I'm going back on the 6th week, but I'm doing it in a different way than you would normally do work because I'm self-employed. I make the schedule. I'm gonna work a lot from home. I'm gonna have meetings with my sisters at my house, so I don't have to leave. So it's kind of different, but in a good way. Have you figured out the greatest way to stay calm when your baby won't stop crying? Okay, so that is a great question because him crying is so stressful because I'm like, oh, I don't want you to be sad or in pain or anything, and I want to be able to read all your cues and what's going on, but you can't tell me what's going on. So I'm like, is he in pain? Is he hungry? Is he, I don't know if he cries from boredom, but is he tired? What's going on? And there's so many options. So I have tried to remain calm. I don't know what I tell myself. I think I'm gonna learn more of that as I get more into therapy, because I'm guessing this is a really common thing, because why the heck would your baby crying not stress you out? It's sad. But oh my gosh, I just realized there's a tiny bit of that blanket in the corner. I didn't move it quite far enough out of frame. Dang it. Oh well, you live, you learn. So yeah, I kind of just remind myself it's okay, babies cry all the time. This is normal. You're doing your best to figure things out. You have plenty of resources. You will figure this out eventually. Between all your resources, you'll figure it out. I just remind myself, it's okay, this is normal, you will figure it out. How is your bond with him and Nick's bond with him? Lots of people don't feel it right away. I talked about this in my birth story video, once again, linked in the description, and how it was hard to bond with him at first. I definitely feel a lot more bonded now. I think it did take a couple weeks to really feel that. Apparently this was a really common thing because I was getting so many comments and messages about this, so I think I'm gonna make a video on that because I can't believe how many messages I got about this. I think I'm gonna make a whole video on it. Oh, Nick's bond with him. Nick is so great with him. It's like insane. He's so good with him and so cute and like so nurturing, so affectionate. It is so amazing. Is postpartum, in your opinion, more physically or mentally challenging? It's pretty equal. I mean, physically, for having, well, I don't know what it's like any other kind of birth, but having an emergency C-section, it was so, well, is still so painful and so challenging. I mean, there was so much pain I was feeling. I want to say mentally, actually, though. I'm going to say mentally. Mentally, this is so tough. This is so tough. It's like the biggest change of your life, and you have so much pain, and you're wondering, like, are you doing okay? Are you taking care of this baby okay? Are you taking care of this baby okay? All these things are going through your head, and it is, oh my gosh, it was so much harder than pregnancy was. I can't even like put into words how hard it is, but obviously it's rewarding, and it's like strengthening me as a person. So I'm becoming a stronger person through all of it. When do you think your belly will be as flat as it was? I have no idea. I don't really care. The only thing I care about is like, I don't want to have to buy an entire new wardrobe. I mean, if I have to, I have to, but I would prefer to fit in the tons of clothing that I already have in my closet. So we'll see what happens, but I don't really know because I've never done this before. Right now it's like a couple inches. Actually, I should measure it. It's a couple inches thicker, my stomach, than it was, and it's like still kind of swollen and stuff from the C-section. It's very different stomach than it was, and it's like, ooh, it's all like numb feeling. Ooh, I hate it. It kind of freaks me out when I touch it. I'm like, oh, I hate that feeling. But wow, I'm talking really fast, but hopefully you guys can tell what I'm saying. How are you managing the hormone changes? I'm doing my best. I'm crying. I'm letting it all out to Nick. Right before this video, I was like telling Nick, I'm overwhelmed, this, that, and the other thing. It's kind of like a normal thing now to just let out all my feelings and then sort through them, and then it's okay. And then I'm in therapy. So there you go. Are you worried about losing the baby weight, or are you happy with it? I'm not worried. Like I said, I just would prefer not to buy a whole new wardrobe. But if I have to, I have to. Was it hard adapting to having a child and not being able to do things you want? Okay, so I'm someone who really values freedom, and this has been difficult because it's like, if you're going anywhere, you have to time feeding the baby, you have to pack all this extra stuff, you have to figure out, like, is he gonna sleep while you're there? Is he gonna sleep in the car seat? Like, what's he gonna do? It's challenging, definitely. So I'm definitely having a hard time. I don't think everyone would have as hard of a time, or maybe they would, but I really value freedom and just being able to do what I want when I want, and that's not what this is anymore. So I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying, yes, that has been very hard for me. How has your relationship with your husband changed? I don't really know yet. I feel like I haven't even had time to think about that yet. But in these 4 weeks postpartum, we have barely even like so much as hugged each other. We're like around each other all the time, talking like more than ever, which is really cool. But then we're like, I don't know, we're like distance and closer, more distance, more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but more apart and more together at the same time. Confusing. It's definitely changing, but it's amazing seeing him be a dad. But I'll have to follow up on that topic later. Did mentally preparing yourself help at all, or is it nothing like you prepared for? This is basically exactly what I prepared for, but way harder. So I was like on the right track with what I was preparing for, but I don't know how much you can really prepare for this. Is life with a newborn more exhausting than pregnancy? Yes. This has been way more exhausting than pregnancy because there's a new person in your life you're taking care of. You're not just taking care of yourself. And the mental aspect was even harder than pregnancy. This has been way harder than pregnancy. But it's okay. I'm getting stronger every day. I've heard that bleeding can continue for weeks after giving birth. Is that true? Absolutely, that's true. So I'm 4 weeks postpartum right now. I'm still like very, very, very lightly bleeding. I haven't bled that much at all. Sorry if that's TMI, but well, that's not TMI. If you're watching this, I assume you know to expect stuff like that. Yes, that can happen for a while. You can bleed for a while. As a person who's known to love sleep, how has the loss of sleep affected you? Guys, I'm such a great sleeper. My whole life, I mean, as a kid, I would put myself to sleep. Put myself to bed at like 7, be like, bye, I'm going to bed. I love sleeping. I love going to bed early. I love it so much. This has been very hard, very, very hard. Like last night I was up with him every like hour and a half. Very difficult. I am hoping he sleeps longer stretches soon because it's definitely very hard. Is Nick at home with you currently? Yes, he's working from home, which is awesome. So he has been helping a lot. He only really took like 1 week off work and he's still been helping a lot while working. He is awesome. How does self-care look for you now that you're a mom? Well, I figured out that I have to take a shower every day. That might sound like, what? I have to take a shower every morning and that is like my me time. And then I try to do a little me time while I'm feeding him. I will try to like, just do something that's relaxing for me, like watching a video and chilling or like going over my feelings or typing something up, whatever. I have a lot of time to reflect on my feelings, which is great. So I've been doing that and having still the morning time routine of like shower, get ready, blah, 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 and nighttime routine as well. Just really simple, like 15 minutes of getting ready for bed and whatnot. I didn't do those things at first when we brought him home and I was like, I'm gonna lose my mind. So having the normal morning nighttime routine and like being strict with yourself, well, myself, about like keeping that in has been very helpful. How many kids do you want? I want like at least 5, I think. Are you still taking Lovenox? Lovenox is the blood thinner I had to inject into my stomach every day during pregnancy because I have a blood clotting disorder, or I have 2. I don't have to take it right now, and I'm so happy. I don't have to take it again until I'm pregnant again. Is postpartum sad because you're not pregnant anymore, or now you're a parent and it's scary? I'm not sad that I'm not pregnant anymore. I'm really happy that he's out of the womb. It's definitely scary that I'm a parent, a first-time parent. This is very scary. So it's not really sad, it's kind of sad, you know, but yeah, it's intimidating. I'm kind of scared. Do you ever get bored just sitting around with him all day? No, because I'm like, oh, I can't wait till he sleeps and then I can do, well, I love when he's awake, playing with him, even though he doesn't really play that much, and like just looking at him and being like, oh, Barrett, just talking to him and stuff, whatever, is so fun and so cute. But as far as like getting bored goes, I'm like, okay, when he sleeps, I'm gonna wipe the counter, or I like think of something I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make lunch, and then I'm excited to do that thing. And I watch videos and do stuff like that while I'm like feeding him and get work done. So I'm not bored. Do you think your son looks more like you or Nick? Okay, I actually think he looks like the middle of us. We'll see though, it's kind of hard to tell. Like he just really started opening his eyes for longer periods of time. So it's kind of hard to tell what he looks like at all. Have you faced any body confidence issues? Kind of, not, I haven't had that much time to think about that yet. My body's definitely really different, but as to be expected, it's definitely kind of strange. It's like still like bruised, like my stomach is kind of like brown and green. That sounds really gross, it kind of is, but whatever. But I don't know. I'm definitely like, oh, this is different, this is weird, but I think I'll have to think about that more and see. I'm still in such a daze. It's only been 4 weeks. I almost said 40 weeks. It's only been 4 weeks. Would you recommend having a child to anyone else? Is it all worth it eventually? Well, eventually, I don't know when that is, but I would say it's definitely worth it. I mean, my family is like the most important thing to me in my life, like all my siblings and all that, and not having them would be so sad. So that's what I'm creating with him, and when he has siblings too. And he's like, I'm creating my new family with him and Nick. So I would say that's definitely the most important thing in life and definitely worth it. How much sleep do you get on average? 3 to 6 hours. Yeah. It hasn't been 6 for a while, but because he was sleeping like 2 hours in the beginning, and now it's like not that. It's hard to wake up so many times in the middle of the night. How soon after giving birth did you start your period? I did not start it yet. It's only been 4 weeks. Some people, I think it does come back fast. Some people it takes a while. I don't know. What was the biggest surprise about being a mom for the first time? Well, breastfeeding him, that it's really challenging and that he eats every hour and a half basically. That was pretty shocking. Can you describe the bond when you first met him? I think I'm gonna do a whole video on this. I didn't feel that bonded to him, but I felt really emotional, but I was just confused. So it took a while to feel bonded, and I felt even bad, like I don't feel that bonded to him. But like I said, I got a lot of messages about this. Apparently it's very common. Knowing what you know, would you do it all over again? I kind of already answered that. Yes, I would definitely do this all over again, absolutely. What has been the most difficult part of postpartum? Dealing with so many changes and trying to stay positive, meaning like reminding myself it's gonna be okay and accepting everything. Were you considering any other names for your son? There was one other name we were considering, but I want it to be like, keep it a surprise, I guess, because we probably name another son that name. How long did it take you to physically heal up? Well, it's only been 4 weeks, but I do feel a lot better now. I mean, not fully though. If I like run, my stomach, so I had a C-section, so I have like this scar and then my stomach is like very like jiggly and like not intact. So if I'm like running for a second, it's like, ah! So that's not normal to not be able to run, and like sleeping on my side or my stomach, can't really do that. It's a strange thing, but I'm definitely feeling a lot better 4 weeks later, which is amazing. Have you processed the fact that Barrett is here? Honestly, I don't think I have. I think I'm still processing it, definitely. Is it how you expect it to feel? Kind of not. How painful is the healing process? Pretty bad the first 2 weeks, but then after that, not as bad. For emergency C-section, that's all I can speak about. Is the pandemic giving you anxiety during this time? Not really, actually, surprisingly. Is it hard? Oh, I think I already did that one. How did you decide on the name Barrett? Well, that's not really a postpartum question, but I'll just do that one. It was like Nick mentioned it randomly as a name. It was like, oh, that's really cool. And then we were thinking about it as a middle name, but then in the hospital we were like, oh my gosh. I said, I keep thinking about him being named Barrett. And Nick was like, me too. And I was like, what? And then I said, and it'd be really cute to have Bear as a nickname. I never thought of that until like I saw him. I never thought of that. I wanted to name him when we saw him. Nick kept being kind of like, oh, we should name him this name that I'm not gonna say before I gave birth. And I was like, I really wanna wait till we see him. And when I saw him, I just kept thinking Bear and Barrett when I saw him, which I was not thinking at all beforehand, was not thinking of that as his first name at all. And then I was like, I feel like it needs like a 1-syllable J name for the middle name. And Nick's like, James? And I was like, yes. And he said he was already thinking of James or John. That's literally exactly what I was thinking of, James or John. I think he said John. And I just thought that was so crazy. We were both thinking of the same thing. So basically, to sum up this month, it's been wild. I spent a lot of time on the couch, a lot of time watching The Flash, a lot of time waking up in the middle of the night, feeling like I'm in a daze. It was so amazing. People brought me meals or like gift cards for getting meals delivered. That was awesome. It's been such a whirlwind, so much physical pain and mental pain and exhaustion, and then so much like joy and like strange feelings of like, this is my child. I can't really explain it. A lot of people say the newborn stage is like not the happiest, best stage at all. And some people paint it like, oh, you're just happy all the time. You're in this newborn bliss feeling, whatever. But a lot of people say that's not true. And I would say that's not true. For me, that's not true. It's like a lot of things at once. It's great. It's also hard. And there's good and there's bad. It's more like challenges. But basically, I'm not sleeping very much yet, but I hope I will soon. Breastfeeding has been challenging. I think we're in a pretty good place now, but I don't know. And I have a lot of mental health things that I'm working through right now that I think are totally normal. But that's the 1 month update. I'm nervous about how it's gonna be with work, how I'm gonna do that, how I'm gonna balance it. He's the top priority. I'm not gonna prioritize work over him at all. He's the top priority, so I'm gonna figure that out. And I'm nervous about doing everyday normal things, but like changing them to have him in the schedule now. I'm definitely nervous about that, But I know that I'll adjust just like every woman in history before me has adjusted. So I will adjust to my new life being basically he's with me all the time. It's like we're a duo now. It's not just me. So I will be adjusting to that totally. And that's what I'm nervous about right now, but you know, we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for submitting your questions. If you want to be part of my future Q&As, definitely follow me on Instagram and then you can see when I ask for your questions. And subscribe if you want to follow my entire motherhood journey and learn more about my life. Follow me on social media. All the links are in the description and I will see you guys later.